But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. When you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something.
Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't just show up, he exploded onto the stage like a walking blockbuster. Sparks flew, metaphorically and almost literally, as the former California governor lit up the room with an arsenal of hard-hitting truths. It was classic Terminator mode, zero hesitation, zero filter. His words sliced through the noise with the precision of a laser beam, leaving liberal panelists ducking for cover like birds scattered by a thunderclap. No fluff. No sugarcoating. Just raw, unfiltered commentary delivered with heavyweight impact. If you're tired of lukewarm takes and crave the kind of rhetoric that rattles the cage, hit that like button and brace yourself. This is not your average broadcast.
You are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger might just be the most iconic immigrant success story in modern American history. He arrived in the US at 21, armed with little more than a thick accent, a dream carved from granite, and a work ethic forged in steel. From dominating the world of bodybuilding, to becoming Hollywood's ultimate action hero, to navigating the gritty battlefield of American politics, Arnold didn't just live the American dream, he redefined it. So when The View invited him on, they expected a headline-friendly soundbite, maybe a jab at Trump's immigration stance. What they got instead? A verbal reckoning. The moment he sat down, it was clear he wasn't there to play into their narrative. He was there to flip the script, light it on fire, and deliver his truth with the force of a freight train. Unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable.
Single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
Arnold opened with a heartfelt salute to the land that made him, America. With his signature charisma, he spoke of the boundless opportunity this country had offered him, the dreams it helped shape, the doors it swung wide open. It wasn't just words, it was personal, powerful, and deeply moving. The crowd leaned in, hanging on every syllable. For a moment, it felt like a love letter to the American spirit, a rousing tribute to every immigrant who dared to believe they could belong, achieve, thrive. It was classic Arnold, raw, emotional, and utterly magnetic. But beneath that warmth was something winding up, something ready to fire. What no one realized in that charged moment was that this wasn't the speech, it was the spark. Schwarzenegger was chambering a verbal round, and what came next didn't just surprise the room, it rocked it.
The thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can, keep things clean.
If you watch closely, right at the tail end of that clip, you'll spot it. Sunny Hostin leaning in, trying to interrupt Arnold Schwarzenegger mid-sentence. Her expression said it all. tension in her eyes, a tight-lipped discomfort that was impossible to miss. This wasn't where she thought the conversation would go. For a moment, it looked like Arnold was about to echo their narrative, to nod along politely. But then he pivoted. Cool, composed, and entirely unfazed, he flipped the script with a quiet authority that left the room hanging. Arnold reminded the panel, and millions watching, that there is a legal path to immigration. One that every immigrant, including himself, is expected to follow. No loopholes, no gray areas. Just law, order, and fairness. His words weren't loud, but they landed with weight. The applause faded, and a thick silence followed, the kind that only truth can command. He didn't pander. He didn't dodge. Schwarzenegger didn't show up to play the political game. He showed up to lay down the facts.
To make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something.
Then came another truth bomb from Schwarzenegger, sharp, unflinching, and impossible to ignore. It visibly rattled Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar, who seemed caught off guard as he laid it down without hesitation. In his view, immigrants should embody what the immigrant story is supposed to represent: gratitude, respect for the law, and a desire to give back, not take advantage. No sugarcoating, no careful phrasing, just old-school accountability. And here's the kicker, it wasn't just opinion. The data backed him. According to a 2023 Department of Homeland Security report, over 56,000 non-citizen immigrants were arrested for serious crimes in Texas alone. Offenses including homicide, assault, and drug trafficking. In just a few years, illegal immigrants faced more than 250,000 criminal charges. That's not the headline The View wanted to hear. But Arnold wasn't there to echo talking points. He was there to speak his truth. He drew a hard line. Immigration is a privilege, not a pass to break the law. You come to America, you live by America's rules. Anything less dishonors the opportunity this nation still dares to offer.
You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
The former California governor delivered yet another verbal gut punch, measured, firm, and straight to the point, that sent visible shockwaves across the panel on The View. With calm precision, Schwarzenegger dismantled the narrative of entitlement that so often surrounds the immigration debate. He didn't yell, he didn't posture, but with steady resolve, he drove the message home. Immigrants shouldn't come to America with their hands out. They should come with their sleeves rolled up. The focus, he said, shouldn't be what can I take, but rather what can I contribute? Real gratitude, Arnold insisted, isn't a slogan. It's reflected in how much you serve, build, protect, and respect the country that gave you a chance. Then came the real zinger. How many immigrants can truthfully say they've given back after receiving the freedom, safety, and opportunity America provides? It wasn't an attack, it was a challenge, a wake-up call. As an immigrant himself, Arnold wasn't pointing fingers, he was holding up a mirror. And sure enough, like a spark hitting dry tinder, Sunny Hostin bristled. She jumped in, clearly rattled by where Arnold was steering the conversation, and tried to pull it back.
Things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something.
Don't forget, there's 90% of the people who come here are trying to do the right thing.
They're less likely to commit crimes.
And a lot of what's happening right now is people are getting snatched who shouldn't be snatched out of the country, people who have visas, people who have all those things. So we want all the right people. We don't want people who are doing bad stuff.
But they are less likely, immigrants are much less likely to commit crimes in this country than actually American-born citizens. And the other thing I just wanted to say is that Governor Newsom did not ask for the National Guard to come to, the federal government to come to California. There are 9,000 local law enforcement officers.
Did you catch it? Right as Arnold was slicing through their narrative with surgical precision, Sonny Hostin's hand shot up, an instinctive move to cut him off before his words could fully land. That's what happens when raw, unfiltered truth collides with polished ideology. It gets uncomfortable fast. Moments later came the predictable detour. The tired argument that American-born citizens commit more crimes than immigrants. A textbook distraction. It's the rhetorical equivalent of tossing sand in the air. Muddy the waters, shift the conversation, and hope viewers miss the real point. But Arnold wasn't playing along. He cut through the noise. This isn't about comparing crime rates in a statistical tug-of-war. It's about the rule of law. The core issue is illegal immigration, entering and remaining in the country without legal status. Whether or not additional crimes are committed, that initial breach matters. It's not about vengeance, it's about maintaining the integrity of the system. But the left works overtime to blur that distinction, twisting data and redefining terms to prop up their narrative. Schwarzenegger wasn't having it. He fired back with clarity and conviction. And while he was at it, he didn't miss the chance to take a jab at Gavin Newsom's failed leadership either.
If you were governor right now of California, how would you be handling the ongoing crisis that the state's facing?
Well, I think the most important thing is when you are in a leadership position like that, is that you are inclusive and that you work together with everybody. And so it means that you have to work together with local government, the state government, and the federal government. They have to work together rather than fighting each other. Fighting each other's agendas and all of that stuff. That doesn't do good to anyone.
Let's be real. Gavin Newsom has all but cemented his legacy as one of the most ineffective governors in California's modern history. While Arnold Schwarzenegger once modeled leadership built on unity, pragmatism, and calm resolve, Newsom chose a very different path. Political theater over responsible governance. Instead of rising to the moment, he threw his weight behind protests and illegal immigration, leaning into the chaos rather than cooling it. And in a bizarre, headline-chasing move, he even dared President Trump to come arrest him. More reality show than leadership. That's not courage, that's performance art. Leadership means preventing the fire, not posing in front of the flames you helped ignite. But Newsom didn't just light the match, he poured gas on the unrest and watched it burn. Only when the political heat scorched him did he trot out a limp, too-late apology. By then, the damage was undeniable. Californians didn't get a steady hand. They got a political arsonist trying to moonwalk out of his own mess. And just when you thought the drama had peaked, the View hosts circled back, pressing Schwarzenegger on the National Guard. But Arnold? Unmoved, unshaken, he stood his ground and fired back with even more resolve.
The National Guard is under the governor's supervision.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, like for instance, when the National Guard was sent to Iraq during the Iraqi war, I was not the one that said, oh yeah, go to Iraq. The Bush administration came and said, we need those people.
They came
and
to you.
They came to you. And we need the resources, we need the equipment, we need the weapons, we need the vehicles to ship to Iraq, and then they ship
It's the
to
coordination.
Iraq. So
It's the
that's why I
coordination.
say it is very important that we work together.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who is asking whom. The bottom line is we work together in order to solve the problem.
You could almost see Whoopi Goldberg shift uncomfortably in her seat as Arnold waded into the kind of topic that usually sets the View studio on edge. With his trademark calm and unwavering delivery, he did what few dare. He defended President Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard during the protests. Arnold didn't flinch. He didn't hedge. He laid it out in plain, unapologetic terms. When chaos erupts and streets start burning, A leader's first responsibility is to restore order and protect innocent lives and livelihoods. If that meant calling in the National Guard, so be it. That wasn't tyranny, that was duty. The tension in the room was thick enough to slice. You could almost hear the gears grinding behind the cameras, producers whispering frantically into headsets, hoping to redirect or cut away. But Arnold wasn't reading their script, he came armed with his own truth. And when that truth didn't align with the show's narrative, the atmosphere turned electric. Meanwhile, across the political battlefield, Democrat Senator Ilhan Omar fired off a sharp critique of Trump's move. But conservative commentator Ben Shapiro didn't miss a beat. His response? A razor-edged clapback that matched Arnold's energy and kept the pressure blazing.
President spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade.
One of the worst places on earth, according to a woman who came from Somalia, because President Trump had a military parade. But this goes deeper than that for Ilhan Omar. Of course, there's not much about traditional American values that she does like. She is constantly sounding off about the evils of American colonialism, American capitalism. A group of people have been brought to our shores over the course of the last 50, 60 years who really despise the country. And that is one half of the equation, not
Ben Shapiro's response echoed the spirit of Arnold Schwarzenegger's message with laser-sharp precision. Being an immigrant in America isn't just about rights. It's about responsibility, gratitude, and contribution. America offers freedoms others can only dream of: safety, opportunity, the ability to speak freely and rise by merit, not bloodline. That's the foundation of the immigrant spirit. Appreciation over accusation, building rather than blaming. But then there's Representative Ilhan Omar, whose rhetoric seems to run in the opposite direction. Time and again, she takes the spotlight not to celebrate progress, but to condemn the very nation that gave her a platform. She's called America one of the worst countries in the world, a claim that not only stings, it contradicts reality. It's a slap in the face to immigrants who crossed oceans and borders believing in the American dream, only to hear it mocked by someone who's benefited from it more than most. And it begs the unavoidable question: if America is so fundamentally broken, how did it elevate her? From a refugee camp to the halls of Congress. That contradiction doesn't just linger, it screams for accountability. And Shapiro made sure it didn't go unanswered.